Hello everyone, I'm Cassandra from the Singapore Embassy in Berlin, and today I will be talking about Singapore's circular economy. And I must say I am rather excited to be able to contribute this presentation to the first ever virtual Dresden Nexus Conference during this time of crisis. Well, needless to say, this crisis has forced many aspects of life to come to a standstill, but it has also given us the time to confront inconvenient questions. So if you look at this photo here, this is an offshore landfill in Singapore, and it is the only one that we have. You can see the man-made rock bund all around the landfill. We have already used more than half the space, and the remaining space will only last us for another 15 years. It's very sobering, and we must ask ourselves, is Singapore's development sustainable? Clearly, we need to balance economic growth and environmental protection. And to ensure that Singapore remains competitive, we are working towards the 3 R's: climate resilience, resource resilience, and economic resilience. And only with that can we become a zero-waste nation. So what does it mean to be a zero-waste nation? Well, this means that we must throw out the linear take-make-waste model and adopt a circular economy, one where we transform trash into treasure. And we have the Zero Waste Master Plan to help us with that. It is our roadmap. And by 2030, we aim to reduce landfill waste by 30% and achieve a 70% overall recycling rate. So far, we've closed the resource loops for water and construction waste, but we can do more to close the loops for food waste, e-waste, as well as packaging waste. To do so, we've adopted a 3-pronged approach in finding solutions. So let me now go into detail about the first prong, and that is pushing boundaries through research and infrastructure. So I have a couple of examples here. The first is the pneumatic waste conveyance system. This system automatically conveys waste from buildings to a central location using air suction. And this really makes waste collection much more efficient. And the second example is new sand. So every year, Singapore produces 500,000 tons of incineration bottom ash, which we are now turning into new sand that can be used in construction. The third example is this. We're building a site which will house an integrated waste management facility and a water reclamation plant. So how this works is we have food waste from the facility, we combine it with water sludge from the plant, and it produces usable energy. Now, this energy source accounts for 2% of Singapore's total energy production. Moving on to the second prong, and that is transforming the environmental services industry by driving innovation and technology adoption, upskilling the workforce, improving productivity, and forming international partnerships. And these transformations are essential for a circular economy. And the third and final prong is co-creating solutions with the community. Now, even the most sophisticated technologies and guidelines would be for nothing if people do not espouse the culture of recycling. So the government tries to understand consumer habits and design campaigns to raise awareness of good recycling habits. Now, opportunities in this dark time of crisis. There's no doubt that the crisis has devastated businesses, and many are now worried about survival. But a circular economy is about long-term sustainability, and we cannot lose sight of it. If anything, this crisis reminds us that we must build resource and economic resilience to absorb future supply shocks. This crisis has also provided us with some opportunities. So I have a couple of examples that I can think of. Firstly, this business downtime is the perfect time for firms to build capabilities. And to encourage them to do so, the government recently launched a fund to help firms cover the cost of implementing food waste treatment solutions. A second example is that this crisis has disrupted cross-border recyclables flow. So this teaches us that we must strengthen our local recycling capabilities. And so Singapore is now working to set up plastics and e-waste recycling plants locally. And a third example is international partnership. This is crucial for a global circular economy and for a sustainable future for everyone. And Singapore and German companies have benefited from such partnerships. An example is a German-Singapore consortium recently won a contract to provide public waste collection services in Singapore. So you see, it's not all doom and gloom. There are some bright sparks. Well, our journey to a circular economy is a long one, and we must continue to build on it. I hope that in the last 5 minutes, I've managed to spark your interest in Singapore's experience. And if you would like to find out more, you can read up about it in our Zero Waste Master Plan, and the link is below. And last but not least, I would like to thank everyone for joining me here today, and take care.